In Naples, centuries before modern memory, the figure of San Gennaro emerged as a shepherd of faith in a city shaped by fire, sea, and fear. His life unfolded during a time when belief was dangerous and public loyalty to Christ carried real and deadly consequences. Saint Gennaro served as bishop during the Roman persecutions of the 4th century, guiding believers quietly, often in secrecy. His leadership was not marked by speeches, but by presence, endurance, and an unyielding refusal to abandon those entrusted to his care. When arrest finally came, it was not sudden. Gennaro knew the risk long before chains touched his hands. Witnesses later recalled his calm acceptance, as though martyrdom was not interruption, but fulfillment of a path he had already chosen. His execution did not erase his presence from Naples. Instead, devotion deepened. The faithful preserved what they could, including relics tied to his death, believing that sanctity does not end when the body fails, but when memory fades. Among these relics was a vial said to contain his blood, darkened and solid with time. For generations, it rested in the cathedral not as spectacle, but as a silent reminder of sacrifice accepted without resistance. Naples itself became inseparable from his memory. A city familiar with disaster, eruptions, and plague clung to San Gennaro not as legend, but as protector, invoked during danger and remembered whenever survival felt uncertain. Over time, a ritual formed around the vial. On specific days each year, clergy and people gathered, not demanding miracles, but waiting. The blood, usually solid, was observed closely, its state watched in reverent silence. This waiting was not curiosity alone. It carried fear and hope together. Naples knew history, and history had taught them that when the blood failed to change, hardship often followed soon after. Yet no one could predict what would happen each time. The ritual offered no guarantees. The blood had its own rhythm, its own timing, leaving the city suspended between faith and dread as the moment approached. Long before it ever moved, the miracle had already begun. It lived in memory, obedience, and the shared act of waiting, teaching Naples that faith is often proven not when something changes, but while nothing yet has. As the appointed day approached, Naples changed its rhythm. Streets near the cathedral grew crowded, voices lowered, and attention turned inward. The ritual was familiar, yet never routine, because history had taught the city that outcomes were never guaranteed. Inside the cathedral, clergy prepared with deliberate care. The vial was brought forward slowly, not displayed, but handled with reverence. Every movement carried weight, as though haste itself might signal doubt rather than devotion. The blood appeared unchanged at first, dark and solid as always. Minutes stretched, eyes fixed on the vessel. No prayers demanded
God, do
transformation.
not abandon
Instead,
us.
the crowd waited, holding breath, aware that forcing expectation had never shaped this moment before. Then, subtly, something shifted. The substance loosened, responding not to touch, but to time. Clergy noticed first, their expressions tightening, cautious not to speak, before certainty replaced suspicion within that fragile instant. When confirmation came, the signal was restrained. No proclamation yet. The blood had liquefied, visibly moving within the vial. What generations had feared or hoped for now unfolded again, quietly, without spectacle or command. Only then did reaction spread. Murmurs turned into tears, knees bent. Relief and gratitude surged together. The moment carried
Thank
more
you,
than
Lord,
wonder.
for mercy
It
and
carried
protection.
release, as though an invisible burden had briefly lifted from the city's shoulders. This was not the first time, nor would it be the last. Yet repetition did not dull its force. Each occurrence renewed memory of San Gennaro's sacrifice, linking past martyrdom to present endurance in a living cycle of faith. For Naples, the liquefaction was never merely physical. It spoke of protection, warning, and presence. The blood moved, but so did conscience, reminding the city that faith was not inherited passively, but maintained through attention and humility. Outside the cathedral, the news traveled quickly. Bells rang, faces changed. The city exhaled. Yet beneath relief lingered an unspoken awareness that the miracle was not permission for complacency, but an invitation to remain watchful. As the ritual concluded, the vial was returned to its place. The blood would solidify again in time. Faith, however, was left fluid, unsettled, asking the same question it always had. What would obedience require next? After the ritual, silence returned slowly. People remained where they stood, reluctant to break the moment. The miracle had occurred, yet its meaning lingered unresolved, pressing each witness to consider what responsibility followed confirmation. For centuries, this pattern had repeated. Liquefaction, relief, dispersal. Yet the church never framed it as reward. The blood softened, but discipline remained firm, reminding believers that grace did not erase the cost of fidelity. San Gennaro's life echoed this tension. As bishop, he had chosen witness over safety, refusing silence under threat. His blood now moved, but only after a life already surrendered, long before martyrdom sealed his testimony. The miracle did not soften memory of persecution. Instead, it sharpened it. What flowed in the vial was not escape, but reminder that faith historically survived pressure, endurance, and willingness to stand exposed before power. Those present understood this intuitively. Celebration remained restrained. Gratitude was real, but sober. The miracle had answered prayer, yet also renewed the question every generation faced. Would faith endure when comfort faded again? In Naples, history had taught restraint. Past failures, disasters, and warnings were remembered alongside liquefactions. The blood's movement was read not as permission, but as timing, a sign that vigilance still mattered. As people departed, they carried the event quietly. No proof was demanded. Testimony traveled by memory, family, and parish. The miracle remained localized, yet its implications stretched far beyond the cathedral walls. Over time, the blood would solidify once more. This reversal was expected, even necessary. Faith was not meant to remain constantly visible, but to be recalled when certainty hardened and trust demanded renewal. Thus, the miracle concluded without closure. It confirmed presence, not outcome. The question remained suspended. Would the city respond with deeper obedience, or allow familiarity to dull what had once demanded awe? San Gennaro's blood rested again, unchanged in essence. The faithful returned to ordinary days. Yet beneath routine, the miracle persisted as challenge, asking not whether God would act again, but whether belief would remain alive.